The Queen of Valar had never seen a human cry. In her throne room of obsidian light and whispering banners, she mocked him, laughed as he trembled beneath her gaze. To her, humans were fragile, sentimental creatures unworthy of survival. But when that single tear slid down his face, everything changed. The guards froze, their spears rattled. Even the air seemed to bend, because in that tear, something ancient stirred. Something the Valarians once feared, but had long forgotten. And the Queen? She finally understood why the universe whispers one warning: never make a human weep. If that opening gave you chills, hold on, because it's about to get a lot deeper. You're about to discover why one human tear can shake an empire. So before we dive in, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who loves emotional, cinematic sci-fi that actually feels human. All right, grab a drink, lean in, and let's step into a galaxy where empathy itself might be humanity's greatest weapon. The human entered the throne hall alone. No chains, no armor, just torn clothes and the faint echo of boots on obsidian tiles. The alien queen sat high above, surrounded by light that shimmered like liquid glass. Her guards, 8 towering Valarians with silver scales, watched him as one might watch an insect crawl across a sacred floor. "You stand before the sovereign of 10 systems," the herald announced. "Kneel." He didn't. He simply lifted his gaze, steady, quiet, human. A ripple moved through the room. The Queen tilted her head, curious. Humans weren't supposed to look directly at her. Most broke before the first glance. But this one, there was something unspoken behind his eyes. "What is your name, fragile one?" she asked. He swallowed, voice rough but steady. "Elias Kane. Terran survivor." A hush. The word Terran drew a flicker of memory from the oldest guards, an echo of a name that once carried thunder. The Queen smirked. "A survivor? Of what?" He paused, then whispered, "Of what your kind began." For the first time in centuries, the Queen's smile faltered. Laughter rolled through the throne hall like thunder over glass. The alien Queen leaned forward, resting her chin on her clawed hand. "Humans," she murmured. "You always speak as if history owes you sympathy." Her voice dripped with amusement, but behind it hid a strange edge, one only the oldest of her guards could sense. Elias stood silent, his gaze steady. "You think your tears, your tiny wars, your fragile hearts matter?" she continued, her silver eyes glinting. "You burn your own worlds, then beg the stars to pity you." The court chuckled. Elias didn't flinch. Instead, he reached for the small, battered photo tucked inside his torn sleeve. He held it up, a picture of a child smiling beneath a blue sky. "That's what you don't understand," he said quietly. "We don't cry because we're weak. We cry because we remember." Something about that word, remember, made the Queen still. A shimmer passed across her eyes like a faint echo of pain she couldn't explain. "Emotions," she hissed. "A disease your species never evolved out of." Elias looked up at her, voice soft but sharp as glass. "Maybe. But tell me, Your Majesty, when did your kind forget how to feel?" The throne hall fell silent. Even the glowing banners seemed to dim. Elias lowered the photograph, eyes glistening with something raw, unhidden. The Queen stared, caught between fascination and disgust. "Is that supposed to move me?" she mocked. "You think sentiment is power?" He didn't answer. His lip trembled, and then, just once, a tear broke free. It slid down his dirt-streaked cheek, fell, and hit the floor with a soft, impossible sound. The room shivered. Every guard froze. Their spears quivered, ringing like struck bells. One by one, the Valarians dropped to their knees, their scales flickering with a pulse of fear older than memory. The queen's breath caught. She recognized it. The resonance. A genetic echo buried in her bloodline. The same vibration that once ended the First Conquest War. Elias looked up, his voice barely a whisper. "Now you remember." The queen's pupils thinned to slits. "It's impossible." But the guards were already backing away, muttering ancient words the court hadn't spoken in millennia, tear of the burning sky. Because once, long ago, the sight of a human's tear had marked the moment an empire fell. Whispers spread through the throne hall like wildfire. The Valerian guards trembled, their eyes wide with ancestral dread. The queen rose slowly, her expression unreadable. "That legend was myth," she said, though her voice lacked conviction. "No human could possess such resonance." Elias stepped closer, his tear still glimmering on the floor like a fragment of light. "Your ancestors didn't think so," he said quietly. "They learned the hard way what human sorrow can do." The queen's gaze flickered. In her mind, ancient memories, more inherited than remembered, rose from the depths. A vision of cities burning beneath blue fire, Valerian ships crumbling to dust, humans standing amidst ruin, tears falling like rain that melted stone. The first war, the one her kind erased from their archives. Elias continued, "You tried to conquer Earth once. You thought emotion was weakness, but our grief, it became power." Her voice cracked, barely a whisper. "We called it the curse of compassion." He nodded. "We called it survival." The guards bowed their heads, their fear now reverence. The queen, for the first time in her reign, felt something she hadn't known since childhood. Shame. The queen stood frozen, her breath shallow. Around her, the throne hall, once echoing with power, felt like a tomb of forgotten truths. Elias didn't move. He simply looked at her, not with anger, but with something worse. Understanding. "You mocked what you never tried to feel," he said softly. "And that's why you're afraid now." The queen's crown tilted as her hands trembled. The air shimmered with the memory of ancient ruin, the sound of her ancestors screaming as the skies burned with human sorrow. She descended the steps slowly, every motion deliberate. When she reached him, her eyes, silver and sharp, met his once more. Then, before her guards, before her court, the alien queen knelt. Her voice broke. "We forgot what it meant to feel, to hurt, to love. We forgot what made us alive." Elias blinked away another tear. "Then remember," he said. The room glowed faintly, the oppressive darkness easing. The guards lowered their heads, no longer in fear, but in respect. And in that silent hall of obsidian and light, one truth resonated across galaxies. The strongest force in the universe was never fury nor conquest. It was the simple, unstoppable power of a human's tear.